guys! What are we gonna do today? This fun idea. We're revamping a cutting board, making it a fun fall board. Let's get started. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is decide what type of design you wanna put on your board. We have a lot of black and whites, but you could probably find something fun. And then by the time we get done, you can see how you could use almost anything. But what we are going to do is we are using this fun Mama Crow. So first thing we're gonna do is we're just going to fussy cut her out. Okay, so I've cut her out, and I even used an X-Acto to cut out right in here. And I have this board I'm gonna use. She will fit on here with everything I wanna add. So you either find an image that fits to the board you're using, or you find a board that's gonna fit to the image you're using. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my base coat, and I'm using a white paint. I am using a chalk paint, but you could probably use any paint you would like. Depending on your color scheme, you can use any colors you would like. I am going for a grayish tan white look. I want my paint here still wet when I start adding my layers on. I'm using this faded burlap from DIY, but you could use any colors you would like. You're gonna be able to tell when you start playing with your colors what your look comes out like. I'm blending this in here onto the wet paint, and then I'm gonna use just a little bit of this dark brown. So I'm just gonna let this dry, see if I wanna alter it at all, and then I'm gonna do some stamping on it. So I'm using my dark brown paint, and you could actually just use ink instead, and I am rolling it on my brayer. And I am using this chippy paint stamp. I think that's good enough. I'm gonna go wash my stamp off, and then we're gonna start with our decoupage. Okay, so my board is dry. The girl is cut out. Normally I would glue her first and work around it, but I think because this board is a different shape, I may do my stencil first and put her down afterward. So I've decided I'm gonna lay it out, and you can just play with your pieces. And if you want to, you can actually stencil on a piece of paper, cut out your pieces, and lay them on your board so you know exactly where you want to put them. So I'm gonna put brewing right here, and anything that's around it I'm gonna mask off. So I am using this white to stencil brewing, and depending on the image you're putting on here, you may have a totally different color scheme. So I'm using a dry brush technique. You get your brush full of paint, then you tap up and down to get most of it off. Then when you put your stencil down, you do an up and down motion. So let's let this dry really quickly, and I'm gonna start my next line. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry right here. Okay, so I'm gonna stencil this where it says Coffee Company in this white, but then I'm gonna layer in a little bit of browns. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna decoupage our crow on. Okay, so this is dry, so I am gonna decoupage her down, and I'm gonna use a heavier Mod Podge on this because this is a heavier paper. And then what I'm gonna do is stencil Old Crow. And since I decided I'm just gonna use the OLD, not the E, and I kind of like it right in between her hands. And I'm using my dark brown, but once again, you can use whatever colors you would like. This dark brown almost looks black, and I really like the way it just looks on here. Okay, and I will do the crow here at the bottom. Okay, we're gonna let this dry, and then we are going to antique it. Okay, so I am gonna start distressing the edges, and then what I'm gonna do is seal it and then distress her. I just don't want the oxide to totally drench on the paper. That's why I'm doing it in 2 stages. And I'm kind of just going in through here a little bit. Then I'm going to use my black soot. So I am going to just let this set and dry. I'm going to seal it, and then I'm going to do some antiquing over her. I'm using a polyacrylic crystal clear, and it is just a water-based sealer. And if you notice, since the antiquing is water activated, even when I put my sealer on, it will want to move it around a little bit. Okay, let this dry, and then I will do my last distressing. This board seemed to come out a little lighter on this side, and I want a little more darkness. So I am going to add just a little bit of a crackle stamp. Now I'm going to use just a little bit of the vintage photo on her. Don't want a lot. And if I would have done this before I sealed it, would really soak up quite a bit. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted just a light wash. And when it dries, it'll just be a light wash on her. So you can see the difference from the first one I showed you and this one. This one looks maybe a little lighter, but the board is bigger, so it makes the crow look smaller. So you can see, depending on the colors you use, how much you want to blend your colors in, and how you do your antiquing. Hope you guys give this a try, but whatever you do, have fun.